Hi, I'm Stan Haynes here with 718 TV, wishing all of you ladies and germs at home a happy and healthy Christmas. May the loved ones, the people in your life that don't suck, and the people that you don't have to worry about, I hope things turn out for them too. And in fact, not only today, but out of life, not just on Christmas, but I hope you all get what you want out of life. All of you ladies and germs and talking cacti, potato chip bags, eighth dimensional hobos, freelance paramedics, chrononauts, chronomancers, and the occasional dungeon spelunker. All of you, a happy and healthy Christmas. Now, cameraman dragged us all the way out here because, of course, by his logic, like, where are you from? There are only 4 days during the year where you could ask that, and today's one of them. He did the math, and he's not going to cough it up, so just, cite sources. You could just message him directly. I mean, he's the guy who puts this all together. So, on the bright side, everyone is halfway attached to their phone. So I'm talking into a camera, but they're just like playing life or spectator mode on their phone. And it's not their fault. It's sort of like a weird default that we live in. I want to call them mumbo jumbo times. Some of you have the proclivity to call it clown world, and call it what you will. It's not normal. I mean, a part of me wishes I could be like, this is normal now. Stare at it. And I wish I can, but I won't. Did you know that around the holiday season there are more suicides, at the very least in these United States, than anywhere else in the Western world, on this floating rock in space, this orb upon which we have the tread of our mortal life? What a dump. So, if there are people in your life that, at the very least don't suck, because having an expectation on anything in this day and age, that's more of a gamble than it is an investment. I mean, I want to say we live in mumbo jumbo times, and I will beat that horse to the death. And that is the hill I choose to die on. We do live in mumbo jumbo times. Remember when the Eastern Seaboard used to have 4 seasons? I remember. There are a lot of people who aren't on their own side, and they're dedicated in dying on the right side of history. And that when you see them, especially with the talkity talk and the tweetity tweet, and you could go on autopilot, you could check out, you could just mash your face against the keyboard before hitting tweet, and it'll make the thumbs on the screen extra angry when they respond to you. That's a fact. Alright. Well, I'm Stan Haynes, and we're going to have to start journeying on foot, and then maybe perhaps a random encounter is going to happen on the world map. The music, there is no music because, you're watching this at home. And kind of like when there's an NFL game, you're expecting to hear announcers, but you're seeing it live, and they're really tiny live, and there's some space behind your eyes that fills in the gaps that the announcers left behind because they're not there when you're seeing it live. And I mean, at the very least, and they didn't even give me any warning. If I farted or shat myself, they'd be in for a treat and or a surprise. I mean, why not both? But no, there's no concept of personal space. And I mean, some people know better, but they don't do any better. And right now, you can just see that over my shoulder. And I'm not talking about the endless cycles of putting a $sign on everything so gigantic gifts can run on loop. And all of these transactions made by people wearing suits that translate to the misery and suffering of others on this orb upon which we tread our mortal life on. It's not about that. It's about no personal boundary. Hi, I'm Stan Haynes, and welcome to another episode of Now What the Hullabaloo is Going On Back There? Today's episode, there's some stairs. We're going to walk up those stairs. Come on with. Times Square wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, Times Square was drenched in neon and the letter X. Times Square, I mean, if you've seen Taxi Driver, it's gritty and ugly and absolutely horrific by today's standards. But, that was basically the set and setting of some people's lives, their upbringings. It's a nice movie, even if you don't care about Scorsese's work. It's sort of like a time period, you know what I mean? It's a period piece. That America doesn't exist anymore. Watch for Falling Freedoms. So, once upon a time, there used to be an arcade between the 42nd Street station and the 49th Street station. Once upon a time, I was playing the Punisher side-scrolling arcade game with my brother. And, back in the day of arcade games, in side-scrolling beat-em-up games, you tried to outdo one another. I mean, yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. You don't pick up the health when you have health. That's just fucking grimy. But, at the very end, you fight Kingpin, alright? And in the game, you could pick up a downed opponent and swing them around, and you can do damage on everyone else. And if you do it with Kingpin, you lose half your health, but like you do a lot of damage. And like those 300 points earned by swinging that Taballard-looking motherfucker, and that earned me first place, and he got second place. And once upon a time, that arcade used to exist somewhere around like meow. And that's just one of like 147 places that have existed in this city that I could give an example of. That it used to be here and now it's here. And maybe like somewhere between 1/6 and 1/7 of them, it's a frozen yogurt spot. It used to be higher, but even the frozen yogurt market's like dying out. It's because we're living in the Great Depression 2.0. You know that and I know that. We gotta go climb those steps, so let's go. Excuse me? ¿Quién está mirando quién? Porque estamos allá. Es muy importante porque allá es cuando vamos a aprender el razón que estamos aquí hoy noche. ¿Esa qué? ¿A pensar la manera que gente camina en ese mundo? ¿En ese mundo físico? No. We gotta get to the fucking top of the steps. That's what we're here for. Well, listen, like, I want to see what all the hullabaloo is, and I really do. Because, like, if it's a nice view, I'll pull out the rectangle and put it up against my face and take a picture, and it'll look like I'm in the witness protection program. I'll do that when I get up there if it is a good view. I just want to see if, like, because you can't believe the hype. The audacity of the hype is how we got here in the first place. Hype. Hype is gross and just awful. And 4-letter words I can't say because it's Christmas and I don't want like a kid to start crying like baby Jesus because baby Jesus has rickets because I said a 4-letter word. So we have to at the very least be mindful, you know? Hi, I'm Stained Haynes, and people have lost all sense of personal space. Now, back in the day, you even looked at a pigeon hard enough, it would just fly away. Now, you've got to, like, step up in front at the pigeon, and then the pigeon just stands there like, listen, unless you're throwing change your bird seed, it's not even moving. At least like, the neighborhood you're trying to gentrify, or that guy. Nah, he's more of a tourist. He's not gentrifying this place. Really. What is the makeup of locals and tourists is what I'd like to know, because I can't blame them for gentrification. But then again, it's like, you know, like, is this what you want to look back on? Like, yeah, you went to New York City. It's like, well, you don't want to show them the yuppie kennels, you know, and you don't want to show them neighborhoods that were, like, gentrified. Like, what happened in Williamsburg was ugly by design. And it kind of halfway spread to Astoria, but they somehow contain it. Like, Brooklyn is like a really weird petri dish for the rest of the world. You heard it here first. Unpopular opinion, I've been looking forward to this weather all year round. They harumphed, much like when you walk down the street and you have daddy's money, or check your phone like Monoxis does. So, let's try to figure out where some of these people are from. Hi, where are you from? Wisconsin? How far from Milwaukee are you from?
Like 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a small world after all. There are a number of these people on YouTube, Red Letter Media. They're from the Milwaukee area, and they make some of the best YouTube videos in the history of anything ever. So check them out. You should be proud of heroes that come from your soil. That's crazy. We're 718 TV, and you can find us anywhere. You can punch words and fingers on a screen and get to a search engine. I wish you and your loved ones a happy and healthy Christmas. It's a small world after all. Milwaukee was what the Native Americans that were inhabiting it there at the time called the Land of the Plentiful. Now you probably didn't know this, and I didn't know this until Alice Cooper opened his mouth. But that's a video you've probably never seen because it belongs to a movie. Hey kids, remember movies? Remember when there were things like plot structure? So like, oh god, is she flogging someone down? She's flogging down necromancers, 2 paladins, and a cleric, and that cleric's been giving me the stink eye for the past 15 minutes.
Jersey City?
From Jersey City, the tri-state area. What do the holidays mean to you?
Holidays? Free time, all of movies.
That's excellent. No, that's the second best answer we've heard all night, alright? Any kind of booze you're particular for, like vodka, gin,
Whiskey and Scotch person.
a man of culture. I'm an uncultured slob. I like room temperature vodka. No. No. But vodka is great because it goes well with orange juice. And orange juice is a great way to start the day.
Really?
It's about as healthy as you can get having vodka in the morning. But I hope you and your loved ones have a happy and healthy Christmas. Get home safe, all right, man? You drive the tunnel, bridge, you fly back to Jersey. How do you get back home? A train. You could try. It's not. Listen, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? You heard it here first. Have a good night, man. Hi, I'm Stan Haynes, and we're still at the steps. Now, we were able to get pretty close to the steps, and I took a selfie at the very top of the selfie. I took 2 selfies. You took no selfies. Haha, your turn. Malakas almost always win. So we're here because I want to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen at home. You see, Christmas is a tricky thing to be against because obviously, like, if you have certain political sensibilities, you could be really mean and nasty and talk down to Thanksgiving. But this is Christmas. Now, like, it melts away a lot of what I used to think and sometimes do think is hard-earned cynicism as, like, listen, like, how many people of these people are going to be looking back at these photos? Like 17%. And you see, at least they're trying because, like, their nonsense comes with a chant. See, and you gotta take a selfie next to the chanting, and it's like microcosms, and like when the universe is infinitely large and small. If you're in a monastery after 27 years of thinking about this, or trying not to think about it, or thinking about not thinking about it, that's what you end up at. Anyways, ladies and germs at home, if you're against Christmas, there's something inherently wrong with you. Thanksgiving is one thing. You could talk about colonialism, or neocolonialism, or like herpa-derpa-doo and whatever podcast you were listening while taking bong rips in your dorm room thinking that you've got it all figured out. Jello Biafra covered this in Holiday in Cambodia, and that just perpetuates itself. In your lifetime, you're going to see academia no longer be like an institution. You're going to see magazines go the way of the dodo, and none of us have ever had a dodo egg omelet. So we're going to be on the move, and the gifts can only go on for so long until Coca-Cola, Hyundai, and Samsung is going to be like kicking in our doors and sending their lawyer golems against us. And maybe a frost giant or a cyclops just to spice it up. Cash, Ring of Fire. That's what he's asking for, because you're going to listen to Johnny Cash on the way home. You know what I love about Johnny Cash? Every song sounds almost basically the same. Awesome. You know who else does that? The Ramones. You ever heard of Johnny Cash or the Ramones?
Nope.
I heard.
All right. You need to fix your ish and listen to Johnny Cash because he's an American hero. And you have to fix your ish and watch, and listen to the Ramones while you're at it. But listen, I hope you and your loved ones have a happy and healthy Christmas. We're 718 TV.
Alright.
Go. Now you know better. Do better.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. One thing, guys. Go on YouTube and look up Polo G. That's the guy. And one more thing. Add my snap Eli Bola 1234.
Yeah, something else. Merry Christmas to all you guys. And at my snap, no spaces and no lowercase. A Money 112348. My snap.
I love you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year's.
Thank you. 5 years from now, this is going to be found footage sometime between World War III and World War IV. And that young man is going to be getting messages on Snapchat from intergalactic people who are like, well, he gave us the numbers. And then they're going to be asking him, like, hey, listen, like, how do we rewire and reverse engineer the thing that crashed in Area 51 to get back home? I mean, he'll know. He gave you a Snapchat. He's going to get an open watch. Like, Saudi princes are going to be like, how much for the child? He's going to breach containment in 3 weeks from now. He's going to be trafficked and then eaten by fucking Tony Podesta. And John Podesta. Hey, you ever notice how John Podesta looks exactly like the dude who died from Lincoln Park? You could Google it. You do the heavy lifting, not me. I'm on stairs. My belt keeps getting loose. My shoes hurt. And people have no sense of personal space. I'd take the photo for them, but I don't want to interrupt. Now, as you could tell, no, really, ladies and gentlemen at home, tell us what percentage of people stayed and what percentage of people left. And you, too, can have someone you don't like prank phone called from any one of us at 718 TV, because we do prank phone calls from public payphones because no one picks up on private call or anybody. Exactly. I've been saying that for weeks. So listen, I'm Stan Haynes. wishing you all again. And listen, if we don't wish you all a happy and healthy Christmas at the very least 14 times, then comes like, Candyman, but like instead of like the toilet, like, being full of bees, it's just everything being full of bees. And it's not like Dr. Bees. In fact, bees are the worst. You don't even have to be allergic to bees to get all right, listen, the bees are coming. We're out. We're not gonna look back on the life that we've made on the phone in front of our face, even though real life has really good resolution.